As I indicated, I'm Mary Martin. I am the event manager for the company as well as a scanner specialist, but also on our team are Jeff Slack and Steve Mayer, names you may recognize already. Now, the thing I love about Applied Imaging is we offer a variety of solutions to fit your needs. Software wise, what we do is sit down with you or do a conference call, whatever you're comfortable with. Do a discovery. What are you looking to do? What do you need? At that point, working together, we can decide on what software solution would best fit your needs. Anything from, you can see in the bottom here, OnBase, ShareBase, SciGen, DocuWare, a lot of different things, right down to Canon scanners for all parts of your organization. Human resources, AP, workflows, electronic forms, and something you may have heard, I want to tell you a little bit about, robotic process automation. You might know it as RPA. Let me give you an example. We're working with a client who 365 days a year, a person has to go into the office and run a software program. They then have to take that program from one software and then upload it to the other software to get the reports run 365 days a year, no matter whether it's the 4th of July or what it is. With RPA software, that can be automated and a robot can run that entire process and you don't need a person. Of course, contract management as well, and so much more. Talk to us, whatever your needs are. Here's some things about Applied I bet you didn't know. We have Shred Hub. We have folks who can come in and put in bins to take care of all that excess paper and securely shred it if you're working from home. They have bags they will bring you that are secure. They can pick them up or you can drop them off at one of our offices. If you've got paper accumulating in the basement, vaults, and storerooms, we have got backfile conversion services available for you. NetSmart Plus, we've got the IT folks. They can help you with your network, your workstations, help you replace things that need to be replaced. They're there to help you with the IT side of the world. PrintSmart, if you've got a fleet of printers out there, whether it's 1, 2, or 20 or more, they are there to help you with those. It doesn't matter, Lexmark, HP, doesn't really matter what it is. Of course, document scanners, we have those, and you're familiar with us with copiers or the multifunction. Document management, and one of the more exciting things, temperature measurement kiosk. So your employees, if you're concerned about them being healthy as they come in, what you will do is have them walk up within a foot of it. It will automatically check their temperature and tell them that they're good to go. If you want facial recognition, that's an option as well. But you can decide whether you have that. We're going to run through the introduction. What's digital transformation? Taking a look at company businesses, goals, and processes. Looking at a process for improving those processes. A summary, next steps, and of course, your questions that you might have at that point. So let's talk about process. Every day we work and interact with a process. Now we prepare documents, we deliver reports, we attend meetings. These activities involve some type of process to work towards an organizational goal. Odds are they might have been around for years and years and years, and that's always the way you've done them, you've been told. So when things don't go as planned in a process, we want to know what happened. What triggered the problem? So you need to do an analysis. So today's interactive workshop will provide the tools to help you identify the symptoms of a broken process. And then what we're going to do is show you how to improve those processes with proven methods to ensure the best chance for success, including the steps where to begin. Now you might say, well, that's great, Mary, but where'd you get your expertise? Let me tell you that Applied Imaging has been working with Growth Achievement Partners since 2011. And I can tell you, I've been through this process. It works. They're an industry leader that have the tools to help you define where those broken processes are and the best practices and the strategy involved to get the results you need to bring your company forward. I've had the privilege of working with Chris Ryan for some time now, and I can tell you this process works. Digital transformation, let's take a look at that. The definition is the use of new, fast, and frequently changing digital technology to solve problems. It's basically about transforming those processes that were non-digital or manual to digital processes. Now, here's the problem. When you automate a bad process with new technology, bad things just happen faster. It's like if something's already broken and you throw technology on it, that broken just moves forward quicker and is just as bad in the transformation stage part of things. Let's take a look at the history of digital companies. We've all survived the Y2K of 2000, and from 2000 to 2010, that was that adoption era. The internet was coming into its own, e-commerce was picking up. From 20 to 2015, that was that buildup of a delivery system. We're looking at cloud, big data was the topic of the day, analytics, managed systems, social was out there. The real transformation started in 2015 to 2018 as products and services became digital and companies basically had to invent their own future. It was either move forward or get lost in the dust. From 2018 and forward, that's when reality really hit. Businesses are taking action and they're transforming the way they do business with technology, both from an operational and a strategic standpoint. And then COVID-19 happened. Microsoft has described the COVID impact on digital transformation as 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months. I'm going to repeat that. 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months. I mean, businesses had to get their people and their systems remote enabled almost overnight. I can tell you the stories that we heard. My niece works for a major insurance company here in the state of Michigan, and they were all told to go home as the shutdown was beginning to happen on a Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Everybody get on the VPN or the virtual private network. Let's see if it can handle the load. The VPNs, those were not designed to handle the amount of people working from home. There was a lot of interesting stories coming out of everything related to this. Collaboration and efficiency was basically a work in process. We were working with another client. Their process originally, when invoices came in, was to print them out if they were not already in paper, walk them over to a wooden set of mailboxes, put the invoice in the appropriate mailbox for the person who needed to approve it, and then wait for them to come in to approve or reject and take it back to the accounts payable people. The problem with that was it was fraught with issues before COVID hit. If you can think about it, somebody picked stuff up out of their mailbox, they got lost in the stuff on their desk. They didn't think to even look at it for another 2 weeks after that. Or worse yet, somebody put it in the wrong box. I mean, there are so many things that can go wrong. You miss early payment discounts, things don't get taken care of, things get lost. It gets really interesting from there. Processes, workflow, and productivity are under stress, and they need to be altered, augmented, or basically totally redesigned. My other favorite question that came from this, we got a call from a school district. Do you have a scanner that kills viruses? No. Why are you asking? Basically, they were deploying over 800 plus Chromebooks to their students, wanted the parents and the students to sign off on them, but didn't want the paper to come back for fear of potential diseases traveling with it, and they were looking for a process. So, as I said, everything was under stress at this point as we moved forward. Now, companies all have business goals. They look at profitability and growth. What can we do to increase profits? What new products or services can we offer? How do we get new customers? Plus, improve the cash flow. But we want to contain cost, manage our expenses, make sure we've leveraged those investments, establish budgets, streamline any processes that are there, and are our employees productive? Are they executing on objectives? Do we have the best technology? And are people being developed? And then COVID-19 hit. Now we're scrambling to manage cost. You have to be able to pivot quickly to do things differently than you've ever done them before while you're leveraging technology and hoping you're making the right decisions on that technology while reducing security risks because now everything's online, and driving your business forward is the other half of it. So goals and processes are linked. I mean, there's always industry trends as an organization we're dealing with and considering out there. You've got your business goals, but let's take a look at the why. What are the processes that you have out there? How are they functioning? What the workflow part of it, the what? I can tell you this part, they're all linked together to support your business goals. Now, interestingly enough, processes are a major component of all organizations. We know that. Um, so when you start to analyze and diagnose the problems, you're going to look at a lot of things from structure, controls, people and processes. And I want to stress one thing here that's really important. Challenged business processes are not an indicator of a flawed or poorly run business. Did you get that? Challenged business processes are not an indicator of a flawed or poorly run business. All businesses have them because often the business grows or transitions faster than the processes that support them. So when you hit COVID, it like hyper accelerated everything forward. So what typically happened over months or years happened in just a few days. So the problem is the process. Most organizational problems are started there, not with people. But if you're in an organization with a mindset about looking at your process, how to manage that, you'll be able to work much more efficiently. So let's take a look at that. Here's how this all is going to work. Today, we're going to focus on number 1, symptoms exercise. We'll do this together. Steps 2, 3, and 4 are our complimentary gift to you. We're going to describe it today so you get an idea of what's coming, but we'll follow up with you after this to describe that. A process selection and report card. We're going to talk about mapping the current state as it is and how do you do a clean sheet redesign for a future state. Now, you should have received an email from me about an hour before the webinar started that looks something like this. In case it didn't come, I did post a link on the screen so you have it there. We're going to run through the symptoms of a broken process exercise. Now, there's some things here that you need to know. First of all, if it doesn't apply, leave that space blank. What you're going to look at is I'm going to give you a symptom and a description of what that might look like, and your job is to put a name of a process or a department in the section on the right, or in the form you're on, it would be below that. To kind of give you an idea. So process or department. Let's take a look at the first one. Some things take too long. Well, common sense tells you how long things should take, but you know what? It's taken a lot longer than that. It's taken hours, days, weeks, months. It just doesn't feel like it should take that long. Again, if you can think of a process or department, put it in there. If not, leave it blank. Okay, it wasn't right the first time. There's missing information persistently. It's outdated, wrong forms that have to be reworked. It's characterized by missing, incorrect, and incomplete information. Again, process or department. How about we throw people or money at the problem, but it doesn't get any better? The managers keep asking for more people. They keep hiring more people, but the problem doesn't go away. Or better yet, the managers get frustrated. They leave. The problem is it's a broken process that the managers, it hasn't been fixed. Or better yet, the upper admin people are throwing money at it. They're paying for technology, and it doesn't solve the problem. So the question has to be, are you just paving the cow path? So put in those that apply there. A high frustration factor. It could be internal or external customers. Did you ever hear, that's the way we've always done it around here? Makes you crazy, doesn't it? Does it meet expectations? Are your customers happy? The root cause, as I mentioned earlier, is typically in the process, not the personalities of the people. How about excessive information exchange, data redundancy, and rekeying? Are there instances where information is continually being passed back and forth around the office? It's being entered into multiple software systems. The same or similar information may reside in multiple places. Is there duplicate entries going on? Again, list a process or department. How about a high ratio of checking and review? How many people have to sign off on a request? Does that number seem excessive to you? Do some of your managers spend more of their time reviewing and approving than anything else? And then how about a process that spans departments and there's finger pointing and blaming? I know that never happens in your office, does it? I've seen it happen in ours early on. So what you need to take a look at here is, does a process span so many departments that people are blaming each other? They think you wouldn't have issues if this group of people actually did their job. Circumvent established procedures to expedite work. Who do you know that's doing the workarounds? They don't want to follow the process because they don't think it works, so they're going to do whatever they can to get a workaround to go about that, beyond that process. So do exceptions seem to happen more than standard procedure? And one of my favorites, no one manages the total process. It's always in pieces. So no one's responsible for the whole picture. Each department's doing their own thing. They basically do it, throw it over the fence and say, it's gone, not my problem anymore. Somebody else can deal with it. And more importantly, managers spend a great deal of time firefighting. How much of the day is spent by your senior staff members in firefighting is an appropriate amount of time. So those are the things that we need to look at for symptoms of broken processes. Now, here's some things to consider as you look at your responses. And by the way, when you're done, hit submit. We'll make sure you have a copy of that form. And that's what we're going to base our call on when we call you. Do you have something in each symptom? Do you have a process that shows up in more than one description of symptoms? It has multiple problems, that process does. Do you have multiple processes that show up in more than one description? And is there a process or two that was written about most often? That might be the place to start if you're taking a look at those. And of course, if you're like most companies, you probably have 3 to 5 there. So now that you have a list, you may be thinking, okay, this is great, Mary, but how do I go about prioritizing and ultimately fixing these? I got a process that can help you. Here we go. First of all, what we're going to do when we meet with you, either in person or we can do this remotely, is to take a look at a process selection and report card. Take your top 2, 3, 4 processes that you determined were on that symptom process that we just went through. You're going to talk about your goals. For example, on the bottom, accounts payable, accuracy in recording and reporting. Okay. Taking a payment discount is appropriate, and fast review and approval. Now the fun part. In your current state, give yourself a grade, A, B, C, D. You notice E's not missing, is missing, F. How do you grade based on school grades that process? And then the next column, what's an A look like? What do you need to do to bring it to an A? Then the next step is a discovery workshop, and I can tell you I've done this personally. What happens is we talk about the current state, what happens today, an analysis, where are the issues, where are the opportunities, and do a clean sheet redesign to get you to that letter grade A. Let me tell you how this works. It's kind of fun. We did this in our department about over 2 years ago when we had a change of managers. They handed us, everyone in the department in this meeting, a pad of sticky notes. We call it a sticky note party. On those, you were to write one on each, no name on there, by the way, because we don't want to know who these came from. You put on there what's good, what's bad, what could be changed. There was 4 different areas that we were given to describe. They then collected all the sticky notes, sorted through them, divided them into those 4 areas, and we could start to do an analysis of where the issues and opportunities were and start working towards a clean sheet redesign. And that's what we'll do with you. So the team that will be working with you has been through this and knows what they're doing. It's something we've used in our company for years. So the key I want to stress here today is challenged business processes are not an indicator of flawed or poorly run business. Keep that in mind. It's the process, not the people, the process. All the businesses have them, and often the business grows or transitions faster than the processes that support them. And remember what Microsoft said about COVID. 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months. Talk about growing pains. I'm sure you're experiencing them. So the key here now is it's time to fix those broken processes that have come to light over the last few months. It's critical. It's very critical that you future-proof your organization, that now is the time to do an analysis of what's broken out there, what needs to be fixed, how do we move this forward, because down the road we don't know what's coming. And while you've got a minute to catch your breath and do a review, it's the time to make some changes to make sure your organization is moving forward with digital transformation in a very successful and smooth way. Don't be like that poor fellow in the picture you see there with his head in the sand and think it's all going to go away, because it's not going to go away. As we mentioned earlier, just throwing technology at broken processes just gets you there a whole lot quicker. Now, next steps, if you would, finish completing that symptoms of a broken process exercise. Hit that submit button and it will send it on into us. And I'll tell you this, the answers are going to be kept just between you and us. Our applied imaging team will contact you to schedule an appointment to start working through the analysis and that clean sheet redesign, or I called it a sticky note party. And of course, keep in mind, this is our gift to you.